It has been 2 years since I made the first commentary. I was planning to make more in a consistent time frame, but I never came around to it. In today's commentary, I will just be going through some levels and explaining their workings. I will be going over the mall and the end. The VHS tapes will also be covered. These are all part of the single player side of things. Only these levels, except the mall, are accessed by single player mode. I warn you that there will be spoilers, so play the game first before watching. Now, let's get into it. The Mall is the second chapter released in The Intruder. There are really no differences between the house and the mall. It's the first chapter with human dialogue between someone on the phone and the main character, Henry. This is the first time Henry speaks, and it won't be the last. The issue with the dialogue was that I dragged it on for so long. The Intruder works in the same way. This time, the rooms are completely randomly selected. Afterwards, I changed them to progress through the rooms in a sequence, but with some random moments. His code contains 1,300 lines, due to my lack of scripting experience during this time. Expect me to talk about how badly he was coded over the levels, but slowly improving. Had I rescripted his code, it would have dropped 90% in line count. The style of the mall looked completely different before the remaster. It had a patio-like platform. It would have overseen the rest of the mall. The cameras never changed. I used the same IBIS X software to create the images. Is that how you pronounce it? IBIS Paint X? The actual images before editing were taken from the web. I'm sure you can find a few of them out there. After the remaster, the dialogue was completely dropped and replaced with another phone message. Alarms have also been introduced. Players must turn off these alarms before the awareness is maxed. The Intruder can check in 2 different ways. He can go to the office or go to the window. That wasn't there in the old version. Being seen in both can result in being taken. After reaching the end of the level, dialogue can show the player speaking to officers, only if you survive. Or, officers will be talking to each other if you die. This you is Henry. That's all there really is to the mall chapter. If you continue on in the game to the next level, you would come across the end. The end is not really the end. Everyone already knows. The question mark in the title is a dead giveaway. This chapter is the first to include free roaming. Jumping is also introduced, as there will be obstacles later on. Henry, whom you can control, goes into the Montyburg mansion, not known during the release. Multiple phones can be found that the Intruder can call. This is the first instance that the Intruder speaks in complete sentences. He is seen later on, but he remains hidden, teasing Henry over his family. During the opening scene, he discusses an accident he and his wife, Sarah, have been involved in. The Intruder stood on the highway like a deer caught in the headlights. Henry, not wanting to hit him, swerved, resulting in an accident, killing Sarah and his young daughter. If you played the VHS tapes, you will know Henry had a son named Jason. He was not included in the accident as he was missing before the night it all happened. I'll discuss the VHS tapes later. Henry wanders through the halls and finds himself upon the dining room, missing chairs. He must set up these chairs that would have been sat on by his family, which will never be filled again. It's all another joke the Intruder pulls on Henry. If you find all these chairs, you can enter the basement before hearing the voice of your wife. Note when I refer to you, I really refer to Henry. Anyway, the voice is not from his wife, but a mimic from the Intruder. He attempts to capture you, but with a bit of video game logic, you always escape. The end of the chapter occurs when he escapes, like how all games should end. Irony later on. This is the end of the chapter. Now, how it works on the surface with the Intruder this time is that he has a pathfinding script to hunt you down. This is the first occurrence of any pathfinding included in the game, and there will soon be a handful of it. This is also the first chapter where any camera system is not included, which turned the chapter into any other horror game with just walking and finding things. This won't be the last chapter with free roaming. Speaking of free roam, let's discuss the VHS tapes as they all are free roaming. VHS 1 includes a man speaking about his schizophrenia. With that similar voice to all others we've heard before, we can connect the dots and find out that it's Henry once again. With what we know, he is seen as schizophrenic due to him taking medications and seeing things. The dramatic irony in this case is that everyone believes that he is seeing things, but as we soon learn in future VHS tapes, it isn't an illusion. The VHS ends with Henry wandering in the dark and is approached by the intruder. The tape tries to convince even the player that Henry is really just schizophrenic. Everything has been happening to him anyways. Or has it? In the second VHS tape, we control a teenage boy who we learn is Jason, Henry's son. Why is Jason deep in the forest? How did he end up in a large cave system? We won't know. What we do know is that he isn't leaving the cave alive. The intruder is found inside the cave hiding about. A wooden structure is also seen from where he emerges. We don't know where that structure leads to, but what's more important is that the intruder is real. After leaving for unknown reasons, Jason runs away and a chase takes place. The VHS tape, slightly after release, had a voice line from Jason himself. He pleaded for his mother and father, but the only ears it fell on was the intruder. Actually, does the intruder even have ears? We'll just say he does, only when it's important. The intruder heard Jason, so he isn't deaf. After stumbling into a maze, he must find a way out. This is the first instance where the intruder has a full roaming system. After Jason finds his way out with a light at the end, the intruder blocks and runs at Jason, giving the player a little spook. That is the last time we see Jason alive. Maybe. The third VHS includes a character we don't know about. One can only guess who he is. A voice calls from downstairs and he goes down. The intruder reveals his light bulb self and the character retreats to his room. The only thing he can do is cry because it's over for him, regardless of anything else. Footsteps creep closer and the intruder opens the door. End of VHS. One can only guess what happened. The answer is clear. This VHS marks the shortest piece of content alongside the first VHS in all of The Intruder. These single-player levels alone built the framework for what would expand into a complete story about a man wanting closure. No new single-player chapters have been added since then. These chapters will be something that I will personally cherish because it has created a gateway into something much, much bigger. I hope you all enjoyed the 2 years of silence since the first commentary. Between these 2 years, so much has been added, and it calls for more commentaries. Maybe the next one will come out in 4 years? Anywho, the next commentary will cover the next multiplayer chapters in sequence. The next one will include the mineshaft and the hospital. Some chapters deserve their own commentaries. Well, that's all I want to talk about today. Let me know in the comments how you feel about these commentaries. I make sure to look at all of your responses. Alright, see ya.